this is Mikhail. Welcome back to my channel. Before we start off with what I have to say, I wanted to, I know a lot of people haven't really watched my videos, and yeah, it's a little upsetting, but for the people that did subscribe to my channel and like my videos, I wanted to say thank you very much. It's been really hard this year because of COVID and everything, and thank you for the few subscribers that I have for your support. And now let's get on to what I have to say. So I just graduated from high school. Well, I moved up a grade, I should say. I'm now starting the 12th grade, and I've been looking back on my past in my mind a lot, and I just thought to myself, I wanted to share some of my history from my past with you guys, and yeah, my history of my past with, what's it called, being bullied, for how I look. And I know a lot of people touched on this subject already, and it's really true for them, but I just wanted to add in my side to it as well. So it all started when I started high school, really. The bullying that started when I was in high school was about my appearance. That was that bullying. But let's not get off subject. So I first started high school, and I had a couple of friends that are very nice. And I'm not going to name names because I don't want to offend them. But yeah, they're my friends. But I had a lot of people my freshman year. That's when the bullying really, full on started, about my appearance, my weight, and yeah. So one day, I was friends with I had a friend, let's call her Alyssa. She was a very funny, very outgoing, a great dancer, and a very charming girl. We started being friends freshman year, in high school, in geometry class. So then there was this not so very kind girl. Let's call her Ruby. Okay. Let's call her Ruby. She came into the class. At first, Alyssa and Ruby, they weren't close, but they joked around with each other. But then Ruby started disliking her for no reason at all, and started talking about her behind her back, and saying really harshful stuff to her face and saying a lot of rude comments when she walked by. And Alyssa, well, she was a very nice person, but when she gets to that level, she can really tell you off, let's just say. And I wasn't in the middle of it, but when someone is like really attacking my friend for no reason, I'm gonna help and stand up for them, because that's who I am. That's what I was taught to do, stand up for what is right. And what Ruby was doing was not right. And I noticed that a lot of people and a lot of my friends didn't like her because she was boastful, rude to people, rude to teachers, has an attitude all the time for no reason. Just a really rude person. And I understood that, and I didn't know her personally, so I didn't really have a judgment on her until I saw what she was doing to my friend. And I sticked up to my friend on a couple of occasions when they got into it. And then when Ruby saw me sticking up for Alyssa and seeing that I was her friend, Ruby started going after me, which that made me confused because, for one, I barely even knew her, and yes, I'm gonna stick up for my friend, that's what friends do, but she going after me just makes no sense. Like, it was not really a point to it. So a few days passed, and Ruby was in my health class. I had two friends there. Let's call him Michael. And let's call my other friend Julie. So we were supposed to be playing a game in health class, like naming the body parts and stuff. PG-13, bruh. And it was me and Ruby and my other two friends were in the same group, and it was my turn to go up next and guess the body part. And then when I got up and tried to answer the question, I didn't get it right. I knew that. I didn't study that day. And when I got it wrong, I walked back. And then she suddenly just blurted out, "Look at her looking like a bag of potatoes." And I know, like it's not I'm not gonna say it wasn't intentionally. It was intentionally. But the phrase that she was using meant that I looked fat. And that's what she was implying. Because a bag of potatoes, those are really, really big. And I understood that a lot. And then I got fed up because I'm just like, why are you going after me now? I did nothing to you. And I admit I stood up for myself and I called her out on it. And when I did, the teacher made both of us go out in the hall. And I told her the teacher told me and Ruby to go out in the hall and wait for the teacher to come out as well. When the teacher came out, the teacher said that me and her didn't really run in the same circle, so how did this occur? And I told the teacher, for one, me and her have most of our classes together, and she has been going after my friend for no reason. My friend didn't do anything to her, and yet she's attacking her for no reason. And I stood up for my friend, and now she's going after me, which I barely even know her. That's what I said. And she's just like, yeah, I barely even know you too, but you're friends with Lily. I'm just like, yes, I'm friends with Lily, but that doesn't give you the right to go after me. And the teacher stopped us right there and told us just avoid each other. Avoid each other from then on. So we did. But I found out from my sister that one day I was walking through the hallways and Ruby was walking another direction and she saw me. My sister was coming in very opposite direction because the school is big, but we still crossed paths. And so when Ruby saw me, she decided that she wanted to come up to me and say some really hurtful things about me and basically wanted to rub in my face, kind of. Rub in my face of how, well, in her case, ugly I am and how big I am, and just rub that in. But my sister stopped her before she could even get to me and said anything. And what my sister said to her, before you go after my sister and me, look at your own self in the mirror. And if you ever try to go near my sister again and say this stuff, there's gonna be a problem. And from that day on, Ruby never said anything to me, she said a lot of stuff about my friends, and I still stick up to them for this day. My sister really gave me the strength to stand up for myself. And yes, the stuff that Ruby said was hurtful, and I still think about it to this day. It's hard for girls like me with a weight problem like this. I try my best. I try really hard. It just feels like everything I try just doesn't work. But I learned to love myself the way I am. I learned to embrace my curves, everything, and love me for me. And just because, and there's more I have to say about this. About, there's something else, actually. Just love yourself. That's all you have to do. That's my message for you guys. But moving on. um, so, moving on with the story. So, me and Ruby haven't talked to each other, having a conversation, having nothing to do with each other until she goes after my friends, and that's when I step in. Like, I don't mess around when someone messes with my friends for no reason, when they didn't do anything wrong. But, 10th grade year, me and Ruby wasn't in any of classes together, thankfully, because I didn't have to deal with the drama of her. And my 10th grade year, I had to do Spanish. So, I met a girl, let's call her Brianna. I met her in Spanish class. Me and her really, I didn't really know Spanish that well, but she caught on to it, and yeah. And me and her became friends. And me and Brianna started walking together, like, to our last class. And I noticed that me and Ruby, like, she was in a class 2 doors down from my Spanish class. So, and Ruby had the same lunch as me. So, we seemed to pass by each other a lot on our way to our classes. But we don't speak. We just carry on. Yeah, she gave me glares and looks me up and down, and I see that, but I just go on with my day. But there was this one day, I was already not in a good mood. I was feeling low. I was feeling irritated already because what was it? Oh, it was because I was getting a bad grade in Spanish, a bad grade in my Spanish class. So I was already irritated, already just out of it. I didn't want to deal with nobody and all. But I still tried to keep my spirits up. I still tried to put a smile on my face, still talk to my friends and stuff. And my friends already knew I was already a little bit on edge. But I tried to keep my composure like I'm supposed to. And at lunch, me and Ruby were waiting in the line. We got our food, and then we were about to sit down. But then Ruby took one of my chairs, and she just smirked at me and went around. And I was already irritated and on edge, and I was trying to hold back everything that I had. And the reason why I was so irritated was because there were a bunch of chairs around us. And I know you're gonna say, well, why didn't you just choose, since she took that chair, why didn't you just go and get another? I did. I went and got another. But the thing is, she did that out of spite, and that was childish of her to do. She was being petty about it. And she sat down, and my friend, Brianna, sits at the exact same table as her. But they don't speak. They do not like each other, like I said before. They do not like each other, so Brianna's with me, and two of my other friends on the opposite side of the table. And when Brianna took my chair and smirked at me and just sat down like she was all high and mighty, that just, I was already irritated, like I said, so that really got to me. So I went around, got another chair from the table, from the table next to ours, which the chairs were right behind her, so she could have easily grabbed one of the chairs and sat down. But no, she came for mine, which it's fine. Well, yeah, it would have been fine if she didn't have a smirk on her face or was being rude about it or having an attitude with it and talking at me while I'm at the same table. That's not fine. And when I went to grab that chair that was at the table next to ours, I sit down and I was looking irritated. I had this very irritated look on my face. And not Brianna's friend, Ruby's friend next to her said, "Do you have a problem?" I'm just like, "No, I don't have a problem with you. I do not have a problem with you." And she's just like, "No, but do you have a problem?" And I said it again, "No, I do not have a problem with you." And she's just like, "Do you have a problem in general?" And I just said, "Well, I just find it irritating that you, right now I was talking to Ruby's friend, but it was directed at Ruby, and Ruby was right next to her so she can hear me. So I addressed Ruby. What was it? Addressed Ruby and said, I just find it really irritating that you just took my chair when there's a whole bunch of chairs on the other side of on that table over there. And I just find that really immature of you." And she's just like, "Well, I don't care. I just wanted to take it. You took our chairs." And I looked at her dead in the eyes and I'm just like, for one, we never took any of your chairs. We used the one over at that table over there because we needed more seats. And she just kept on saying what over and over, like she was trying to come at me. And I'm just like, is what all you have to say? And I looked at her, I'm just like, really? Is what all you have to say? I looked at her with a confused look. And she would just kept on saying, what? I'm just like, look, I'm not looking for a fight. I just was just saying that was very childish of you. I'm just calling you out on how childish you are. That's it. Because it was childish. And she decided, like, she was tying up her hair, pulling out her earrings. She telling her friends, hold my earrings. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna fight you. For one, I don't fight people in school. That's not my thing. And I could go to jail for that. Both of us can go to jail. So why are you acting all buff and mighty? And then her other friends came to the table, and then she just went off for some reason. I'm just like, okay. And after that, I never saw her, never talked to her, never said anything to her again because there was no point. So that's the end of my video. I hope you guys liked it. I know this one was long, just like the other ones. And I just want to thank everybody again for the people that subscribed and watched my videos. It was very, very kind of you. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.